Excuse me, I'm next in line. Move. Excuse me, I'm next in line. Watch out. Excuse me, I'm next in line. I said move. Excuse me, I'm next in line.
Video now instead of streaming it. Alright, welcome folks to another episode of Version View. I'm your host, Will D. Today we're going to talk off with some sports talk. So first thing first, the XFL has started with DC and Houston leading their respective conferences. It's a league owned by WWE, a lot more trash talking, a lot harder hits, less penalties in a sense. Pretty much just the live action version of NFL Blitz, right? But the fun part about it is that it's a small league, 4-4. You get a nice little summer league, but in winter. So when you're having that post NFL feel, there's a little something to watch. But there are a couple more games going down today, so stay tuned. I'm interested to see if Vince McMahon's try this time around will actually be successful. And I was talking with Charles about it earlier, but I think the internet is going to make this a bit more profitable. Let's just see if it ends up on the WWE network after a while. That's what I'm waiting for. The NHL, not a lot going on different, except that the Islanders dropped from 3rd to 4th. They've been slowly slipping. The team's been talking a lot more about how they have to be a bit more consistent with their gameplay. But they're still doing a lot better than both the Rangers and the Devils, who are in the bottom of their division, respectively, in that order. So, yay, Rangers aren't last. But for New York, the big news is actually in basketball. The Nets are in 7th, and the Knicks bumped up from 13th to 12th. I told you they were slowly creeping. They're just teams that just get crappier and crappier the closer to All-Star it gets because they realize there's no point in playing, and the Knicks just play as crappy as they've always done, so eventually some wins come along. But in both teams, there's a couple of changes happening. So for the Nets, who have been pretty decent this season, they're holding on to one of the lower seeds in the East. They're losing Kyrie Irving yet again, this time to a knee problem. And the Knicks dropped a guy, and they're picking up new guy, Leon Rose, as president of the team, who is a sports agent. Let's see if this helps anything. I mean, everybody knows the Knicks are going nowhere until they change owners. That's the be-all, end-all. So changing presidents, this is going to really shake things up. I mean, hey, the last guy you just fired got you from last to 12th. So think about that. Yeah, it's still going to be crappy New York sports. Just, we're doing. And also in sports news, when I left here, the Super Bowl was going down last Sunday. So post Super Bowl, Jennifer Lopez and Shakira killed the halftime show. A lot of guys were happy one way or the other, or hopefully trying to get a sandwich. But there's some deep stuff in there. Nobody really understands it or cares because it's mostly people watching for the kablooey stuff, and for some reason Shakira was did that thing that was really weird. There's an explanation behind it, something to do with Middle Eastern celebration, because her whole she's half Middle Eastern thing going on. But frankly, it was just kind of what the hell in the middle of a football game. And then a lot of people questioning whether or not the NFL realized that these guys should really be performing at the other football game. And somehow along the way after this amazing halftime show, some team won the Super Bowl, but nobody really cares. So on that note, the Blood Bowl is over, and it's all about the XFL. And we're going to go to our first commercial break. When we come back, some stuff happening in NYC as we make our way towards Valentine's Day.
I know. They know. They said they with me from the bottom to the top, and they praying I will never ever stop. I know. And life's a roller coaster till it drops. And even then I will never ever stop. I know, I know, I know. Yeah, I know, I know, I know. Yeah, I know, I know, I know. Yeah, I know, I know, I know. Yeah. I know they've been wanting more. This is what they waited for. I'm back to kicking down the doors and leave my footprints on the floor. Yeah, see I know. Yeah, see I know. Yeah, see I know. I know. I know. Yeah, see I know. Yeah, see I know. Yeah, see I know. I know. I know. They said they with me from the bottom to the top, and they praying I will never ever stop. Yeah, I know. And life's a roller coaster till it drop, and even then I can never ever stop. Yeah, I know, I know, I know. 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 Yeah. Yo, you know what's funny? I'm always asked what takes me so long to get back to music. And I don't think people understand, like, so much shit has been going down. Lost my house. Like, I've been in and out of hospitals. I've been sick. But I told them I'll be back. And I'm here. Lost and found. Yeah, see, I know. Yeah, see, I know. Yeah, see, I know. I know. I know. Yeah, see, I know. Yeah, see, I know. Yeah, see, I know. I know. I know. They said they with me from the bottom to the top, and they praying I will never ever stop. Yeah, I know. And life's a roller coaster till it drop, and even then I can never ever stop. Yeah, I know, I know, I know. 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 Yeah. Yeah, see, I know. Yeah, see, I know. Yeah, see, I know, I know, I know. Yeah, see, I know. Yeah, see, I know. Yeah, see, I know, I know, I know. They said they with me from the bottom to the top, and they praying I will never ever stop. Yeah, I know. And life's a roller coaster till it drop, and even then I can never ever stop. Yeah, I know, I know, I know. 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 Yeah, I know, I know. Yeah, I know, I know, I know. Yeah, I know, I know, I know. Yeah, I know, I know, I know.
All right, and we're back. So we're gonna start off with the fact that for some reason it's Pizza Day today. Like, I don't know who had the brilliant. It's, I think, National Pizza Day. Like, I don't know who would pick February for a pizza day. Like, doesn't it seem more like a spring or summer kind of thing? You know, you go out and you actually want to walk down the block. You want to eat it outside because most pizzerias don't really let you sit down. Like, I don't know. Today's Pizza Day, so if you haven't grabbed a slice, go grab a slice, I guess. Like, what the hell are you supposed to do on Pizza Day? Like, are they giving out free pizza? If you're giving out free pizza, well, this is a hell of a day. But if that's not the case, I had pizza last night in Pizza Hut. What the hell? But yeah, so that's a thing. I didn't realize that was a thing. Which is weird because we've been doing this show how long? Never heard Pizza Day, right? Okay. Then something else happening locally is that 81st Street and Columbus will be getting a Strand's bookstore. Strand's bookstore is pretty popular over on like East 12th. A lot of people know it down there, and they have a big selection of different kind of books and different genres. A lot of people like bring stuff in just for them to resell. They have a bunch of stuff for students and things like that. So they're adding one to the East Side, which for me is really funny because of all the non-Barnes and Nobles that had to close down. but so long ago, and now they're opening up bookstores in areas where a lot of those places were. So it doesn't make any sense. I don't know what the hell New Yorkers are thinking, let alone these other companies. But for whatever reason, this one's expanding. It's not a bad thing. It's just kind of like, so where were y'all readers like 3-4 years ago? We're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where were yo guys when they were closing down a whole bunch of other stores that had better deals? I'm just saying. But Barnes and Nobles is still around though. So yeah, so that's gonna be something new here in the city. Also, if you are someone bold enough to enter the New York City Marathon, now is the time where you can actually enter for the marathon. They've opened that up as of last week, so go ahead and be crazy enough to run all 5 boroughs for no damn reason. No, seriously though. Like, when's the last time you remember anyone making it on TV for winning that from this country? It's normally some black person from someplace else. Like, I ran this the fastest out of everyone this year and it qualifies me for like the Olympics or some nonsense. Like, what are y'all doing? You're just ready to be like, I want that medal they give out at the end of it because it's mad heavy. It's really not worth all that running. Like, if I'm running that long for that, like, that far, it's because someone is chasing me with a knife or a gun or, like, there's motivation. Y'all just really choosing to waste a Sunday running around. Like, I can't figure it out. Professionals, sure, I get it. For you guys, it's about qualifiers, bigger goals, whatever. But that person's just like, I want to do this for me. I'm like, dude, if you want to do something for you, like, go to the spa. That sounds way more productive. Way more. And by the time the marathon actually happens, it's not usually the best weather either. So it's, you know, I don't understand people who do it. And I like to run, but I like to sprint. After like 10 seconds, the race is over. You go get some water. You're like, that was cool, and then you go do something else. Like, you don't waste any more of your time. I don't get people who run around in marathons unless they're pros. If you're a pro, okay. If not, like, stop wasting your own time. The one thing about Valentine's Day I felt was worth mentioning is that Michael Che is performing here in New York for the weekend, and I'm just putting that out there because I thoroughly enjoy his comedy. It's really like, you ever meet those semi-pro people who end up coming to like a college or something, or like the guy who's performing not on Friday night but Thursday night at a comedy club? That's him in a nutshell. As weird as that sounds, but not in the bad way, but in kind of like, not everybody knows about him, but they need to. Like, this guy is definitively funnier than Kevin Hart, and y'all give that man too much money. Show some love for the African man cracking jokes on everybody. That's all I'm saying. It's not Michael Blackson, but it works. And yesterday was the lingerie Cupid run. So if you saw a bunch of predominantly white people running around half naked on the Lower East Side, it was an actual event. They were running around from 12 to 4. Again, a bunch of people running around for no damn reason, half naked, in not so great weather. What's wrong with y'all? Like, what is New York's obsession with running around half naked? Like, why do we have a pantsless MTA ride in the winter? You people don't even know how seasons work.
It's not good for the guys, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, it might be good for the guys because then they won't get arrested for indecent exposure.
Yeah.
But still, no, I'm not with this. Y'all are retarded, man. I'm not feeling this at all. Now, in less funny news, something major that happened recently in the New York area I wanted to get to happened in Brooklyn, right? And why I want to bring this up is that there's a lot about the scenario to talk about, but I'm just going to really get down to the nitty-gritty of it. An immigrant man was shot in the face and hand while trying to stop ICE detaining his mother's boyfriend, right? So there's a lot to break down here. First off, if someone has a gun pointed at you, this will not stop a bullet. That's the first thing. Just don't even waste your time. You might as well save your hand. Like, is getting to your face, bro. It's happening. You do better trying to bob and weave than to put these up as a shield. You're not Hercules. You're not a god. No. Just no. You don't got Captain America. Just no. It's not happening. Next. When the police come and take out their gun, Just stop. If you were yelling back and forth with him, shut up. If you were trying to get into a shoving match with him, stop. You don't even put your hands up. You just get on the floor and you put your hands behind your back. That's it. Just drop. Drop. And the last thing. It's her boyfriend, not your father, not her husband. Bro, take her to the club on Tuesday. She'd be fine. All right? They're gumming for him. You're an immigrant yourself, too, so just be happy. They're not coming to get you. Now, am I saying was it excessive force? It definitely was. I'm not saying that the ICE was right in the situation, that it was necessary, that's none of the third. No. I'm just saying, for the rest of y'all out there who haven't been shot in the face and hand, or are thinking about saving your parents' lover, who you bear no relation to, just save yourself, homie. That's all I'm saying. The cops are going to do what they're going to do. ICE, police, feds, CIA, whatever. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. Your number one goal is to be able to wake up the next morning. Yeah! So, not to say ICE was right, but homeboy, the hell were you doing? That's mama. If mama ain't jumping in front of the gun, what's your problem, homie? That's all I'm saying. And that's all I'll say on the subject. Save yourself. Yeah, I mean, what more? What more need be said? I don't get it sometimes. And frankly, if ICE is actually taking the time to find someone who is undocumented, I mean, frankly, I hate that term. I really do. You know, because a naturalized citizen can be undocumented, where they just lost all their papers, it was burned in a fire, whatever. Like, the home records of my grandmother's hometown were completely flooded out in Louisiana. So all those people don't have documents. They are technically undocumented. Illegal means that you are not supposed to legally be here. You have not gone through the process. So, technically, it really is illegal. If you don't want to call them aliens, sure, illegal persons. But illegal because they didn't legally come into the country. Technically. It's trespassing. It is a crime. Is it an understandable crime? Is it one that we can sympathize with? Sure. But it's trespassing. Technically. If someone came into your house and said, I need sanctuary, you don't know them. They could be the nicest person. They could be Mother freaking Teresa, but you don't know them. And they just barge into your house like, I'm here, protect me. Nah, you know damn well you calling 911 like a white lady at a black barbecue. All right? You know that's how it's going down. You ain't waiting to hear the story. You just like, get out my place. So, if ICE is taking the time to come and track an illegal person here in New York, when you know damn well there's an entire borough of Queens where you're wondering how many people speak English, he probably was supposed to be detained. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it. And he did it. And this guy who got shot was an immigrant too. They weren't coming for you, puppy. So you should have just let homeboy get cuffed, and you still have your face and your hand without a hole. All right. On that note, we're going to go to our next commercial break. When we come back, more of the more entertaining news that I've found for y'all. But seriously, bro, save yourself. When the cops come, save yourself. Like, what was he thinking? I don't get this. I don't even care if y'all just shared 2 beers. Like, I don't care if that's the bruh. Like, it's ICE. They have no chill. We'll be back, folks.
shake the floor so cops can break the door. The rest of one who kill the beat, and that's what they take me for. I guess hip hop is dead. I guess hip hop is dead. But how if when I speak, hip hop is said. Now on to the future for this entrepreneur where everything is in ruins, left gone in the sewer. Couldn't save it like a hard drive on a computer. It just vanished like a plane gone in Bermuda. So don't misinterpret me or else you won't get the perfect me. Certainly, even if I had plastic surgery, my rounds will still kill your nursery. Then tell Lance that it's in the mercury. We are the future of tomorrow. We are the dollar you could borrow. We are the ones you could look up to. We are. This is how I clear my mind from leaving my tears behind. By working hard so haters can feel my grind. While not even in my prime like my year of wine. And if you don't like it, you can kiss my rear behind. It's not that I had writer's block, it's just I don't write a lot. I know I'm wrong for that, but trust me, I'm right a lot. Like these try to apply how they wanna ride my. They can all die and ride. I'm on my way, I'm on my way, I'm on my way. They have a bad Spanish chick wearing lingerie. So good she scream underlay. Like the friend said, that's a double entendre. The only thing I fear is not being afraid. Like a boy genius seeing his grave. See, I'm a renegade, just like Shady and Ho, fighting for the single moms and their baby they hold. I said, we are the future of tomorrow. We are the dollar you could borrow. We are the ones you could look up to. We
So we had some fun this week in politics. I normally enjoy the terrible stuff that happens in politics because I done predicted all the terrible stuff in politics. However, this one I didn't predict, and I love all the conspiracy theories behind it. So, first things first is that we have Donald Trump getting off for all the crimes we know he did. Right? And pretty much because Republicans don't want to admit that their president was the first one to get impeached. That's all it is. Mitt Romney said, I, as a good Christian, cannot lie. And all that nonsense. To which no one cares because, dude, you're a loser. Like, how are you still in politics? Like, you should just walk out, bow out, go away. His pettiness level was like, look, this is what happens when you finally give a Republican a chance. That's not me, essentially, is all that was. That was just petty. You just sided with your party in solidarity. Now you made yourself an outcast, and you don't have Bloomberg-like money to not be a part of the party. So, sorry. But he got off. And I told everybody he was going to get off. We all knew he was going to get off. The whole, like, he's been impeached. It means nothing. Impeachment literally means nothing. I forgot Clinton was technically impeached. Because it means nothing. He was still president. He finished his term. We had to wait for Bush. So, he got off. I was very happy about that. Very happy. And just before he got off, in fact, I think it was the night before he got off. This feels really strange talking about Trump getting off and it not being about his daughter. However, I found a great meme about that. You gotta follow me on Instagram to find out about that. But he gives a speech. He gives a State of the Union address, right? We also had the State of the City, but, I mean, it's New York City. It's working. The end. But we had a State of the Union address where he ignores any talk about his current impeachment trial, talks about all the good that happened, talking about how like the employment rate has dropped, which is cool, and yet despite having some of the lowest employment rate numbers and of all time and whatever, people still struggling. So, you might have to start working on that wage thing going on or some of the benefits things that aren't going on. Just saying, giving people jobs, but then they still can't pay their bills. Something's missing, my friend. But he's hyping himself up and all that, and then it ends with Nancy Pelosi ripping up his speech. So, a couple things there. Nancy Pelosi is the sorest loser of all time. Like, I don't know how you expect to try and get a man to lose his job, essentially, lose his power, and think he's going to shake your hand when he knows he has you beat. Like, really think about that. She was pissed off because he straight up dubbed her on camera in front of everybody in this country, and she couldn't get her way with the vote, which she should have known from jump, which is why she was trying to hold it back for so long. And then she tries to rip up his speech at the end of it. Like, your timing's even wrong. If Homeboy starts talking, you should rip up his speech. You're ripping up the copy that you had. So what you ripping up? He done said it. You done heard it. What you doing? It's like the worst possible statement. It just shows you you're a crybaby. And why you need to just leave. Just you did what you had to do for years. Bow out gracefully. Please. Just go. Just go. But in general, the speech was just full of fluff. It was full of so much fluff. And I love it because, you have like half the audience completely dead silent for most of it, and the other half like it was amazing. It was just fun to watch the stupidity of the whole entire thing. Then we also have the fact that Iowa held its caucus for the Democratic primaries. And of all the people to win, it was Pete Buttigieg. Right? Buttigieg, whatever. The gay guy. Right? He wins it. So, a lot of people are like, well, this is going to give him momentum and it's going to push him. To which, I love the people who really thought about it and said, wait a second. There was a massive technological fail during this primary, right? Where Pete was trying to declare himself the winner. Bernie was like, it's too close to call, but he's calling himself the winner. It doesn't make any sense because it's too close to call. We still don't know. The system was messed up because it's a new system, this, and third. But then this starts up conspiracy theories about, well, did Trump interfere again? Is Trump trying to pick his easiest opponent? When he was having dreams of Pete before, is he making his dreams come true? Because pretty much if Trump wins another election and has another 4 years in office, a lot of these charges may pass the statute of limitations for criminal charges when he comes back to New York. You get what I'm saying? So he's running a beautiful play here. And let's think about this, people. Do you really think that Pete has a shot come nationals? Like, do you think the openly gay, unmarried guy from a state no one cares about, despite being very intelligent, articulate, and probably a really good person who could run a country, is going to really cross people over? There are Democrats who won't vote for him just because he's gay. His only market of people who aren't already voting are people in the closet. Minorities are not coming out for this guy. The youth might, depending on how liberal they are. Hell, they might because they aren't liberal. He's not a strong enough candidate to really win when the big show comes. He may be a great person for the Democratic Party to feel that he can represent the party. That's great. Put him in the cabinet somewhere. Yeah. This man can't be president right now. The coastal regions are ready for it. Like they were ready for a woman. And yet we allowed another nation that we are historically had some issues with get in our systems and rig it and not really fight it, try to change it, make things right, because it ended up with us not having a female president, let alone a gay guy? Really? You think we're going to let a gay guy be president before a woman? Y'all are some ballsy people. And I'm not saying he shouldn't be president because he's a homosexual. I'm saying it's unlikely. It's like when Bernie told Warren, they're not going to elect a woman. It's just one of those things that you have to understand. There are too many people who are very religious who are homophobic. There are too many people who don't want someone who's single, unmarried in a sense. Just unmarried. You can have a fiance. They don't want someone who's unmarried as the president. Hell, if you're not the right kind of Christian, they don't want you to be the president. That's how petty these elections are. You thought your high school election for class president and prom queen were some crazy, petty, mean girl straight out of a movie. No, that is what the presidential election is. The dumbest of reasons. It's exactly how I told you Donald Trump was going to be president the moment that Hillary was chosen as the candidate. Bernie's not winning this. He had all the momentum behind him last election. Now everybody stole his ideas. He doesn't have the momentum. He doesn't have the fire. No one's feeling the burn the same way they did before. They ruined a movement and wasted it on a useless candidate. Don't do this again. You guys want America fixed. You guys want America to get rid of Trump. You guys have to vote for Biden. It's that simple, folks. I'm telling you now. Anybody else? 4 more Trump. Remember this day. Remember this episode. I'm saying this on air. Anybody but Biden, 4 more years of Trump. Although maybe not 4. You guys might be able to elect a pretty Democratic Senate and Congress next time, so you can get him on something else, right? I'm sure he's going to mess up again in another 4 years.
Another 4 minutes.
Well, I mean, you can't touch him right now, so he has all of 2020 to be an a-hole. It's 2021, you got to hold him accountable. On a similar note, I would like y'all to visit TrumpDonald.org. I'm just going to say that, TrumpDonald.org. It may help you in your frustration of not being able to pick the candidate you want, just to get a little bit of it out. But yeah, you got to pick Biden. If you really want change in America, you know, it's what his old partner ran on, the platform of change. You want change in America, you got to vote Biden. And then this other thing happened in the realm of politics. I feel like if it involves Fox News, you can call it politics, but not really. But I'm going to for the purpose of this. So Toni Lauren reminds us all why blondes are better to look at on mute. Because she goes on this long rant talking about Jay-Z and Beyonce sitting down at the national anthem. And talking about, oh, well, the country gave you opportunity for money, this, that, and the third. Yeah, so Jay-Z really started making money selling drugs because his family had no money because the government wasn't helping them. So, you know, technically, like, Mexico gave him opportunity. And then Beyonce, on the other hand, is from Texas. So, again, Mexico gave them opportunity. But in this particular case, I will agree with her on only the Jay-Z part. He does not have the right to not stand. Because it's Jay-Z who turned his back on black people, yet again. Essentially, I don't know if y'all remember, but the moment that he found a way to make the NFL profitable for himself, did he start trying to call out Kaepernick on some BS, right? He found a way to make the halftime show profitable for Jay-Z. So after calling them out for all their racism, he decides to make a deal with them because he can make some money. So when you are a sellout, you shouldn't be protesting with the movement. You are officially Uncle Ruckus. Beyonce, she can say it. She can do her. She's a queen, whatever. But Jay-Z is an a-hole. Point blank, period. Because Kaepernick, literally, and I feel more strongly about this because I got a chance to meet him. And when you feel that someone is really being their authentic self, and then they're getting criticized for just being who they are, regardless of whatever the reason. And especially someone who's standing up for people. He put his entire career at risk for something he believed in. And then you sell him out, despite already being rich. Now, I'd even have more understanding if you were a broke dude who saw an opportunity to get money. You were already rich, so now you're selling out your people for no reason. That's what makes you Uncle Ruckus. And at least he had more of a reason because his mama told him he was right. Fun fact. So yeah, that was just the other thing in politics that just caught my eye. I thought that was really funny. The rant was just so long. Like, you could tell she was really mad. And the entire time I'm like, damn, you're so pretty, but you're so stupid. And the moment I put her on mute, I felt so much better about the situation. I really did. I was just right there on Facebook, and it was the rest of it I could enjoy because you just couldn't understand what the hell she was saying. And then to go from pictures of her to pictures of Beyonce and pictures of her and pictures of Beyonce. It was the last minute of that video was nice. But some other stuff happening in media. So tonight is the Oscars, of course, right? Which normally I wouldn't care about. But this is literally one of the few times that you actually have movies that, not just myself, but people in general were talking about over the years. Now, I'm not saying, we got Avengers Endgame up there for movie of the year, but Once Upon a Time made it. The Quentin Tarantino movie made it for movie of the year. Quentin Tarantino was up for director of the year. When you know damn well he should have got it for Kill Bill. He's up for something that's just as good, got the right names, got the right plot, or whatever, and it was a good movie. It was a long movie, but a good movie. He deserved it. And deserves it. Give it to him. You made Scorsese wait for years. This may be a last chance for Tarantino. Give it to him. And a lot of other names, The Irishman that got a lot of critical acclaim, and a lot of stuff that people actually watched were in. And you got foreign movies in this year. You actually got something out of Korea to make it, not for best foreign film, but for movie of the year. This is a big year. You also had Joaquin Phoenix win a recent award out on the other side across the pond, but he called out the industry on kind of being anti-black. And how there's not enough opportunity and not a lot of recognition for African American actors, black actors across the world, across the industry. They always give you those tokens, right? You see the same black faces and everything white until there's a Tyler Perry movie, right? Like, you think about it, really think about it. And if you don't see them in the Tyler Perry movie, you see them on BET. Like, that's just kind of how it works. So he called them out, and I hope, because his performance was actually brilliant, and he's been taking everything else, I hope him making these statements don't affect his chance at the Oscar, because Joaquin Phoenix is a brilliant actor, and Joker was perfect for him because he legitimately lost his mind at one point. So this is the role that he deserves the award for if he never wins it later in his career. If he never does another movie or anything like this, should culminate in perfection for him, honestly. And if that movie won movie of the year, I'm with it. Give Tarantino best director. That's all I'm saying. More than anything, best director. That's my dude. But yeah, so that's tonight. I may actually watch it. I know a lot of black people feel some type of way about the Oscars, but this would be a year for a lot of us younger black folk to go watch it, in all honesty. And let me just be real with a lot of people, like, because you're always the bad guy if you call black people out on their nonsense if you're black. Mm-hmm. But if you actually really watch a lot of black content, it's either a remake of something white people did, like Queen and Slim is like the fifth remake of Bonnie and Clyde or whatever. You just made police brutality the originator point of this. Or it's usually something that's really just sticking to the ideal of the hood and the ghetto and the this and the that. Like, we don't have too many inspirational films. We don't have too many, like, love stories, like what's about to come out with Issa Rae, The Picture, right? We don't have too many things like that. We don't have real quality cinematic stuff. We have a lot of low budget, and I mean, that could be because of all the issues with blacks in the industry. But we have a lot of low budget stuff, mostly comedies, or even our roles in white movies are usually us being a very stereotypical character. If we want them to think of us better, we need to also do better. and you have a lot of young artists who aren't getting recognition at this point in time to, really start that wave off. Also, at the same time, when we produce garbage, call it garbage. Like, don't overhype Black Panther just because it represented an ideal. It was a meh movie. Because when you call Black Panther meh, it's because you expected better, and now you're telling them, do better. That's what it is. If you don't ascertain higher goals for yourself, you'll never try to attain higher goals. So expect better. Expect others to be better. We need to be better. That's all there is to it. Now, in other parts of media, we well, since I was talking about Black Panther, I'm just going to talk about Ant-Man. Ant-Man 3 has been confirmed as a project, which everyone is really confused about because we even know Ant-Man 2 didn't even have an Ant-Man villain. So what the hell are they going to do? And now I'm even more confused because I'm hearing the Fantastic Four might be a part of it. Yeah, Ant-Man, Fantastic Four. What? I love Paul Rudd. I love Ant-Man in the Avengers movies. Hell, I got to say, I did enjoy the Ant-Man movies, but I'm really just, not to say it's going to be bad, but I'm just wondering how the hell are they going to pull this off? Or is it just me? I don't know. I'm confused. But go ahead, Marvel. When you do something, it's worth giving it a shot, right? And also on that same front, the 2017 Japanese anime that Marvel produced called Future Avengers will officially hit Disney Plus. I'm not sure if it will be subbed or dubbed, but they will be adding it so that the American audience can finally see it 3 years later. But, whatever. At least we get to catch up eventually. So that'll be released later this year. So for all the geeks out there, some stuff to look forward to, or maybe not, or at least something to complain about when you have nothing else to do. And then Robert Pattinson has been scientifically proven to be the most attractive celebrity. So him and a lady called Bella Hadid were scientifically chosen through some method that they used to use in the Renaissance period for like painting and art to be like physically the most, I guess, geometrically beautiful people.
Because it's jaw.
I don't know what it is. Like, I don't understand him being beautiful, let alone science proving it. Like, this just seems unfathomable for my brain to really connect. So that's a thing. Robert Pattinson and Bella Hadid, like, I guess, are the most beautiful people in the world and could perhaps make the most beautiful baby scientifically. If you don't know who Robert Pattinson is, it's the twinkly guy from Twilight that she was obsessed with. And probably the most disappointing Batman that will be to date. And Bella Hadid, I don't know who she is as far as what her accomplishments are. As far as I know, she's just some Instagram chick with boobs. Like, I don't know what she's known for, if anything like that. She's probably some sort of Kardashian friend or something, or whatever. But, some Instagram chick with boobs. I don't know how the science figured out her face, but yeah, she has that too. All right. And then some lady recently, her name is Dana Glowacki. She recently set the world record for planking at 4 hours and 20 minutes. Like, just legit entered a competition to just kind of plank for a while. And I'm wondering if planking for so long is physically hard, or you just have to not be that bored. Because I don't know, I can plank for a very long time if I'm just kind of sitting there, like, watching TV. I feel like trying to copy my cat over the years just kind of made that a thing when I was growing up. So I didn't even know it was called planking back then. It was the 90s, but yeah. So, with the TV on, I'm sure I can plank for hours. But a woman holds the record for the longest plank. I think anyone who's ever done the turtle understands why. If you don't know what that means, you're probably way too innocent to be watching this show right now. But yeah, that's a thing. So congrats to her. I guess it's somewhat of an accomplishment, right?
The old man was the first one, right?
Yeah, the old man had it before her, so she beat an old man for this. Think about that. That is a hell of a goal.
60 years old.
It wasn't in competition.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't in competition, so like I guess it didn't count.
Count.
You know, if you don't have that official World Guinness person there, it's just not a thing. Doesn't it's a Donald Trump news story, fake news. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's the one most people would remember for such a feat. Now speaking of fake news, there is a really great fake news story that I recently enjoyed. So, a lady who worked at Hooters was competing with her coworkers to sell the most beer. Whoever won the most beer was promised a new Toyota, right? Or at least that's how she heard it. So when she won, they had, blindfolded her and brought her to where the prize was supposed to be, and they gave her a new toy Yoda. To which she got very pissed off, quit her job, and sued Hooters, and won the lawsuit. Because they promised her a Toyota verbally, and it sounded like a car. Now, supposedly the lawsuit cost them so much money, the lawyer said it would have made more sense for them to just have her go to a Toyota lot and pick whichever one that she wanted. So this isn't real, folks, but this is probably the best fake news story I have heard all day. And before we get to some national news, I just wanted to talk about the fact that if you are waiting for Power tonight, you're slow. You're late. It's been out for a while, and the internet's already buzzing about it, so I don't feel bad for spoiling anything for you. Although right now, all I will say is this is the end of book 1 of 5. Power fans will understand the woe behind that, but yes, the end of book 1 of 5. 6 seasons, 1 book. 4 more to come. Think about that. And 50 literally hashtags it, Power never dies, Power forever. I'm like, yeah, this sounds like it's going to be a 30-year project. But hey, 50, get rich or die trying, right? So yeah, that's another thing. Now in national news, the 2 things I wanted to talk about were things that kind of, one upset me, one cracked me up. So it turns out that despite having a helicopter pilot who was certified to fly in bad weather, the actual vehicle, the actual helicopter that Kobe had was not certified to fly in foggy weather. Now, I don't know if this has to deal with moisture getting to the machine and things like that, but whatever the case may be, the chopper should have never took off. It finds out. That's what the investigation is coming out. So it's not the pilot's fault necessarily. If he knew or not, then you could blame him. But yeah, the machine wasn't built or approved, I should say, to fly in the weather that they were flying in. So that may have also ended up to why the machine crashed. So that was upsetting that something so, simple was overlooked before the takeoff of that trip. And then the thing that really cracked me up, I learned recently that Burger King is more of an international chain. Their products dealing more so with Canada and Brazil. And it turns out Brazil is where the Impossible Whopper is made. So recently we all know that Burger King was sued for having the Impossible Whopper cooked on the same grills as meat byproducts. And a vegan sued them because he didn't know and he ate it. So recently it was said by the company who made it and the lawyers on the case that if this gentleman had at least inquired about how we actually make the burgers, he would have known that we don't do anything different. These burgers were actually made for meat eaters who wanted to take a bit of the cholesterol out of their diet. They were looking for something to eat that as an alternative that would taste just as good and not be as harmful to the body. So essentially, cooking it in meat juices would give it the flavor you're looking for, but because it's made out of, non-meat product, give the effect that you're also looking for. And that if any vegetarian or vegan actually took the time to actually ask questions, he said his only question was hold the mayo because he thought that satisfied his vegan needs. So the fact that they never lied about how the product was produced, they never said that they cooked it any different way. They said that it was a, kind of a meat substitute product. That's exactly what it was. No one acted about the process. And, unless you really see separate grills. So it sounds like this case is going to get washed. Because even going down to where it was created in Brazil, the company stands by, yeah, we made this for meat eaters. So it's not for you vegans. It wasn't made for you vegetarians. It allows you to join the party, But no, you're not relevant in this case. You don't have a claim. You should stop crying and complaining. And no one wants to listen to your nonsense anyway. Don't you guys like overpriced restaurants that give you the same food that rabbits get anyway? Like, just shut up. Shut up. Go drink some water. like,
Go have some bread.
like if you are really complaining about a fast food restaurant not having a healthy enough option, you're an a-hole. You're that fat chick that sued McDonald's for her getting fat. If you go to McDonald's every day by choice and then acknowledge when they supersize it, I'm sorry, the number of people who turn down a supersize because it costs the extra 60 cents, right? That's the money aspect, not even the health aspect, but the money aspect. You were greedy in all regards. You deserve the extra 100 pounds that you put on. I'm sorry. No, it's just a fact. So if you're a healthy person complaining about a fast food restaurant not being healthy, you deserve eating the meat juices. It's on you, bro. On that note, we're going to go to our next commercial break, and when we come back, it's time for the movies and reviews and our fans' movies.
I'm living my life with no regrets. I put my trust in Christ, lay my life down, following Him. See, I got saved at a really young age, surely messed up along the way. I fell back for a while, but look at this, now I'm forgiven. Yeah. You see, I'm forgiven. Yeah. God has set me free from myself. Nobody can do that for me, and I really thank Him, and I love Him, 'cause He forgave me. His love is real love, and I know that I need Him. I'm living my life with no regrets. Hope you ain't got a problem with that. No regrets. You see, I'm living my life with no regrets. Hope you ain't got a problem with that. No regrets. I'm young, fly, saved, in love with Yahweh. Jesus is my everything. Yeah. I'm living my life with no regrets. Hope you ain't got a problem with that. No regrets. So long to the old friends. So long. Adios to the past. That doesn't determine my future. You best understand that. 28 years young. Done a lot of things, but I'm not close to being done yet. Because my future is looking real bright. Like I've already said. You see, my test is for my testimony. My past, I'm done with that. If you haven't been through anything in life, seriously, what planet are you at? In life, there are gonna be ups and downs. People that are gonna try to put you down. But the only way they can is if you let them. Don't let them have no regrets. Start right now. See, I'm unashamed now. I'm on fire now. His grace and His mercy gave me.
All right, so we're going to run through our fans of the week real quick. From Instagram, we have Kiki, who has won this several times, and a new guy, Cadillac Gorilla, so shout out to him. He's actually a memer, so I posted up one of his funny memes. I'm usually on his page looking at stuff, but this week he was on my page looking at stuff, so shout out to you. And on the Facebook side, we have Tara Moreno and Matthew McLean. So thank y'all. They're both pretty regular on the page, but I think it's been a while since either one of them have won. And then our picture of the week is pretty much kids say the darnest things that are too true. And this kid just pretty much proved or thinks his father is just the fattest. Is long and short of it, right? Nothing's chubbier than his papa. No animal is chubbier than his papa. So we're gonna hop right onto the movies here. So first is a series on Netflix called Lock and Key. It's about a family that ends up moving to their father's old hometown after he's killed, and they discover that there's magical keys all across the place where they live, which is called Key House. So like ha 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 there. But all in all, this show actually turns out to be pretty interesting, pretty fun. And I give it a 4 out of 5. I think it's one of the new projects that Netflix came out with that's actually really cool. It's a good family kind of show. It's a little dark at times, but all in all, I think it's pretty solid. Then a new stand-up special came out called from Tom Papa called "You're Doing Well." This is one of those things I got to give it 3.5 out of 5 because I feel like you need to watch it, but there's no real big laughs. This is just an entire stand-up act of everything you can relate to while adulting. Like someone who's just kind of been there, done that, doing it, and everything he says just makes you feel a little bit better about those bad days in your life. So it's worth a good chuckle. It's something that you can watch with a bunch of friends and everybody's kind of like, you get the ha 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 and you nod your head in agreement or anything. Like, it's a solid stand-up. There's just no real big laugh. Then Netflix dubbed a Norwegian story called Ragnarok. Ragnarok being the apocalypse, if you know anything about Norse mythology. Something that Thor isn't the hero of, by the way. All this hype for Thor because of Marvel, and he's not even the hero of Norse mythology. It's his brother. But anywho, this kid accidentally discovers the powers of Thor, and at the same time discovers the existence of monsters who discover his existence, and it becomes a battle of who's gonna kill who first. It's really fun to watch, actually. It's kind of a slower paced story, so do bear with it through the first 2 episodes, and afterwards it kind of just gets to going grooving. It's not always as much action as you would think, but the drama and the intensity of it is enough to actually get it through. So I do recommend you watch it. I give it a 4 out of 5. On a similar note, down on the other side, on the southern part of the border, we have Diablero released its 2nd season. And it's the story of a Mexican exorcist who is trying to earn the respect of his father. And in the process, it involves him having to destroy demons. So this is really funny. It's like the Spanish version of Ash versus Evil Dead. And I think you'll enjoy it. I just think that sometimes it's a little too goofy, which is weird considering I'm comparing it to Ash versus Evil Dead. So I got to give it a 3.5 out of 5. But some of the action sequences are actually really, really cool. So it is worth a watch for sure. And also, a show that had its final episodes released, technically still part of the last season, BoJack Horseman. The last few episodes, I gotta give it a 3.5 out of 5. Everything about this felt like a perfect ending to the BoJack tale. Like, there's nowhere else you could end it, no other way to end it. But everything about the episodes on their own merit just felt off. It didn't feel like the true nature of BoJack. And I feel that's because most of BoJack has a lot more randomness, a lot more comedy, and this really had to focus on ending a lot of the continuity the rest of the series had. So I gotta give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's worth watching, definitely if you watch the rest of the series, but I feel like if this is something where like you're looking forward something and watching its entirety, these last few episodes will disappoint you. Now on the movie front, at theaters you have Harley Quinn with the Birds of Prey and, you know, the emancipation of Harley Quinn. So I can't stress that you have to say the entirety of the name to understand why the movie is the way it is. Harley Quinn is known very well for making a statement and really giving her entire thought process and ramble right afterwards. So this movie is Birds of Prey and the emancipation of Harley Quinn. Like, that's how she would even say it in her head, because it's a whole entire story about the Birds of Prey coming together, but from the perspective of Harley Quinn. So if you were expecting Birds of Prey, it's really Harley Quinn's story about breaking up with Joker. And it did poorly in the box office, which I was a little surprised about. But then again, with past DC projects, and the last one Harley Quinn was a part of being the very disappointing Suicide Squad, it makes sense. But I give it a 3.5 out of 5. I think it's a fun, entertaining movie. It's a little bit chaotic, but it's done from the perspective of Harley Quinn, so it's valid that it's a bit chaotic. And it all does make enough sense. And I mean, you can't go wrong with Journey Smollett pretty much showing her boobs in an entire movie. Just can't. She's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So great for me. However, DC Universe has been running a Harley Quinn animated series, and in true DC animation fashion, it is top notch. I gotta give it a 4.5 out of 5 because some of the episodes are just a little too random with some of the side characters necessary to develop the overall story. but it's really fun. It's still ongoing. If you have DC Universe or if you have, a way to watch it, definitely do give it a shot. But last but not least, like I told you, power spoiler, folks. Tariq did it. And if you couldn't figure that out from the trailer that you've seen of Mary J. Blige or the stuff that was sneak peek beforehand, Tariq did it. But all in all, this episode, though literally the first 40 minutes of it, we all saw. Except for maybe 2 scenes, we all saw this over the last 7 weeks. It was solid. It made a lot of sense. But if you put everything together for when Power went on his midwinter break till now with the Who Done It was garbage. All of this was garbage. Like, we didn't need all this. The only episodes that were worth watching, Tommy, Tate, and the last one. You needed 3 episodes to wrap up Who Killed Ghost. I didn't need to know Paz's story. I didn't need to know anybody else's story. 3 episodes. And frankly, within those 3 episodes, we kind of already figured out. Just these particular 3 episodes, we already knew who did it. So, the rest of it was garbage. It was wasting my time, especially that first Paz episode. That's what really pissed me off. But I got to give this latter half of Power a 3.5 out of 5. I think the series as a whole is a solid 4 out of 5. If you take all 6 seasons together, I think this is a great project that 50's done. And again, there will be 5 books total. So we know the next book will be about the rise of Tariq, but also in how it compares to the rise of Ghost. And you'd be interested to see what actors play young Ghost and young Tommy and things like that. And then following that, we're also going to get to learn the story of Kanan and how he comes to be about. And then the last 2 ones are kind of interesting because one of them is influence and one of them is force. Those are the taglines. What those can be about? Maybe someone does get the power in politics. Maybe we have a Tate story coming along. Who knows? But stay tuned. It's a good thing. 50, you got 30 years worth of work to go. Congratulations. And on that note, I'm Lil D. Catch you guys next time.
Excuse me, I'm next in line. Move.